We, for the last several years, have been trying to get this point out to our colleagues in the museum field, particularly African American museum field. And we started out with just a few of us wanting to do something together to celebrate this holiday, now holiday. And so we gathered together and we put together a kind of video presentation where each of our cities contributes something about how Juneteenth and was particularly resonant in our communities, right? We're now up to 9 this year of other museums who are doing this. And I guess it is on Juneteenth at 1 o'clock, this will air on our website and also on DPTV's website. This sort of hour-long presentation. This is a montage of 5 or so minutes from each of the cities.
And so what does that mean for us here in Detroit?
For here in Detroit, we'll show that video. People will have it, they will have access to it at 1 o'clock on the 19th, as well as at 3 o'clock here in the museum and online. But our celebration is actually starting the day before. So we are doing a Underground Railroad treasure hunt, actually in Greektown. That'll happen on the 18th from 10 to 4. Different sites of historical significance, particularly as it relates to freedom, a theme of this particular holiday, will be highlighted in this treasure hunt, where folks will be able to discover certain places in the city that are particularly important to African Americans. It's sponsored in a conjunction with the Michigan Underground Railroad Exploratory Collective, which is one of our affiliates. We then, on the 19th, we have a number of our community partners that same day in the museum will be really focusing on things like the partners include the Detroit chapter, for example, the League of Women Voters, or the Craft Insurance Company, which insures a lot of our homes and other properties here. A museum store features unique and classical imagery, et cetera. And then we're going to do a concert called Spirit Soar, which basically translates all this to music.
I kind of feel like we still have a lot of education to do, of people, African-American people, and the rest of the population about what this commemorates and why it matters. I think there's still a lot of confusion about that.
Sure, it is the occasion, I guess, it's the story. It marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, right? 1865, to take control of the state, ensure that all enslaved people were freed. However, this was months after the Emancipation Proclamation had happened. So these soldiers were just really finding out about this months later. And in our internet world or social media world, where you could find out about anything instantaneously, that idea of people having been free for some time, according to the law, but not actually knowing about it, something that may not seem as significant, important, or a big deal to us living today. But back then it was huge that they would find out about this, and really an occasion for celebration, right? That it had gotten to them and got to their communities, right?
And it's a reminder of, I think, not taking for granted the idea of freedom, even when it seems you've won, or it seems you've reached that point. There's always more work to do.
There absolutely is, and I think our present moment is really highlighting that, isn't it? The things that are happening in our country now really demonstrate how much freedom is something that we must fight for, to preserve every day, right? And otherwise, they are taken away, as we're seeing in the political process and climate that we find ourselves in.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org, or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.